All right, we'll go ahead and get started. Good morning. My name is Jen Yunker, and I am the Director of Bester Community of Hope. Most of you are probably very used to seeing a really tall guy, so I'm much shorter, but I had very large shoes to fill, so quite literally. Thank you all so very much for joining us today. It is our hope that when you leave, that you've experienced a authentic stick of dynamite, right? I know Tonier is gone, but that was absolutely amazing. And so I have the pleasure of introducing our next guests, three gentlemen from the Holistic Life Foundation in Baltimore. We have welcomed them into the Bester Elementary School, and so they have provided PD to teachers. They came in over the summer, and we had teachers in the cafeteria floor totally doing some mindfulness. And then we brought them back in with the kids. We did assemblies with the kids to teach them about self-regulation, mindfulness. I had a little boy sitting beside me when they were here just last year who looked at me and said, "Oh my God, my tummy doesn't have to hurt every day." Because they were teaching these kids about how, what they're thinking, what they're feeling, it affects them physically, and then gaining some self-control. So I have a lot of respect for these gentlemen, so without further ado, three guys from Holistic Life.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, how y'all doing?
I guess I gotta say good morning to you. What's up, y'all? Is it cool if we start off with the practice? Awesome. If everybody could move to the edge of your seats. And if you could grab your right heel and throw your leg behind your head. While the physical practices are very important because we hold trauma in our body and the physical practices help release it, this is not going to be a physical practice. If you all see on the PowerPoint, 7.53 billion, that's how many people are on the planet. And in our human experience, it's really just human nature to kind of love other people before you love yourself and take care of other people before you take care of yourself. And that kind of leads to burnout and a lot of negative emotions. But if you start off with that self-love and make sure that that energy is really high, it's easier to love and serve people going forward. So we're going to do a loving kindness practice, if that's cool. All right, so if y'all could move to the edge of your seats. For real this time, I'm not joking. Grab your right, it's like I'm joking. Sit with your back, neck, and head aligned, have your feet grounded. And I invite you to close your eyes. All the breathing that we're going to be doing is in and out through our nose. When we inhale, we're going to fill our stomach up. When we exhale, we'll squeeze our stomach in. Andy will talk about that a little later. And like I said, this is a loving kindness practice. So, if you all could, we're going to take a couple deep breaths together. So everyone inhale long, slow, and deep through your nose, filling your stomach up with air like it's a balloon. And exhale, push all that air out, push it all out. Inhale deep again with that long, slow, deep breath through your nose, filling your stomach up with air. And exhale, push all that air out, push it all out. Inhale one more time with that long, slow, deep breath, filling your stomach up with air like it's a balloon. And exhale, push all that air out, push it all out. Now you all can just breathe on your own at a nice natural pace. Don't put any effort into it, just make sure you're breathing in and out through your nose. And we're going to start using our imaginations. With every inhale, we're going to feel and see ourselves pulling in all the positivity that the earth has to offer us. inside our body with that in-breath. Really feel and see that with that inhale. And with every exhale, we want to push out any negativity that's within us that we know that's not healthy for us, any stress, any anger, any sicknesses or ailments, any stress, any of those negative emotions. Really see it leave your body with that out breath. So once again, on that in-breath, pulling in all that positive energy from the earth, in with your in-breath, and on that out-breath, pushing out that negativity within. Really feel and see that with your breath. If you get distracted by a thought or a sound, it's all good. That's just the human mind. Just acknowledge that thought or sound, and then redirect yourself back to the breath. And right now, focus on that. On inhale, bringing in that positive energy from the earth, and on that exhale, pushing out that negativity from within. All right, we're going to use our imaginations again. And this time, with every inhale, we're going to feel and see ourselves pulling in all the healing oxygen from the trees, plants, and bodies of water. And we're going to really feel and see it energize and replenish our internal muscles, bones, and organs. So really see and feel that on that inhale. And on that exhale, feel and see yourself pushing out all the stale carbon dioxide, feeding the trees and plants that gave us oxygen. Once again, on that inhale, pulling in that healing oxygen, energizing our muscles, bones, and organs. And on that exhale, pushing out that stale carbon dioxide, feeding the trees and plants that gave us oxygen. And this practice is all about extending the time that you can keep your mind focused. And if you can only stay focused for 3 breaths and you get distracted, once again, never beat yourself up. Just acknowledge the distraction, redirect yourself, and then try to get 4 breaths and 5 breaths. Like I said, it's all about extending that time that you can keep your mind focused. And it's less of a battle with yourself than it is a play, but definitely try to push yourself to extend the time that you can keep your mind focused. And right now, once again, we'll focus on that inhale, pulling in that healing oxygen, energizing our muscles, bones, and organs, and on that exhale, pushing out stale carbon dioxide. All right, we're going to use our imaginations again. And this time, we're going to think about all those people that we love, whether it's our family or friends, no matter how far away they live. No matter if they're living or not, love knows no boundaries. So with our breath, we want to send love to our loved ones with that breath. Whatever it looks and feels like to you, really feel and see that with your breath. Sending your loved ones love with your breath. Remember, if distractions arise, just acknowledge the distraction. Whether it's a thought or a sound, then redirect yourself back to the breath and sending love to your loved ones with that breath. All right, we're going to use our imaginations again. And this time, we're going to focus on all those people that stress you out or make you angry, whether it's family or friends, co-workers or clients, classmates, people in your community, politicians, whoever it is. We're going to be the bigger person and send those people love as well. You know, even though they're stressing you out or making you angry, they probably need love more than anyone else. And we all know what goes around comes around, so you never want to project hate, even though hate may be projected against you. Always project love, because that's what we want back. So once again, with our breath, we're going to really focus on sending love to all those people that stress us out or make us angry. We're sending love with that breath. Once again, whatever it looks and feels like to you, really feel and see that. And remember, once again, it's all about extending the time that you can keep your mind focused. Never beat yourself up if you do get distracted, but also try to extend the time, once again, that you can keep your mind focused. And it's less of a battle than it is a play. but definitely try to extend the time that you can keep your mind focused. And right now, once again, we'll focus on sending love to those people that stress us out or make us angry, love with our breath. All right. We've sent love to people that we love. We sent love to people that stress us out. Now it's time to send love to the most important person in your life, and that's you. Once again, if you start off with your foundation full of self-love, it makes it that much easier to love and take care of other people going forward. So with our breath, really focus on sending yourself love with your breath. Once again, whatever that looks and feels like to you, really feel and see that. Sending love to the most important person in your life, and that's yourself. And y'all know, once again, if your mind does get distracted, never beat yourself up. Just acknowledge the distraction, and then redirect yourself back to the breath, and sending love to yourself with that breath. Once again, whatever it looks and feels like to you, really feel and see that. All right, we're going to use our imaginations one last time. And this time, we're going to send love with our breath to Mother Earth, planet Earth, and all the living beings on it. So with your breath, really feel and see that. Sending love to planet Earth and all the living beings that live on Earth. We're sending them love with our breath. And you know, once again, just to reiterate, if you do get distracted, just acknowledge your distraction and redirect yourself on the breath. And sending love to planet Earth and all living beings. And also try to extend that time that you can keep your mind focused. And if your eyes are closed, you can keep them closed, but we're going to slowly bring ourselves away from the breath and back to our bodies. So we can start off just by wiggling our toes. Wiggle our fingers. We can roll our ankles and wrists. You can do a neck roll both ways just to stretch your neck out a little bit. And then whenever you get ready, you can slowly, slowly open your eyes and come back to your senses. All right, now y'all can put y'all leg behind your head.
All right, so that number 18 is a number that means a lot to Op and Andy and I. It's the number of years we've been doing the Holistic Life Foundation. I guess the ideas for the Holistic Life Foundation started when the three of us in Chicago, Op and I are brothers. We met Andy at the University of Maryland College Park. Just out socially. Yeah, we'll just say out socially was how we met Andy.
We were at the bars.
Out at the bars, we met Andy. And it was kind of cool because as we started talking and started seeing how we saw the world, we saw a lot of commonalities in the way that we saw things. It seemed like there was a lot of suffering, there were a lot of people being taken advantage of. The planet was being destroyed, and no one was doing anything about it. It's a small college scope of things, so like we weren't out in the world really experiencing things, but that's the way we saw things then. And our friends thought we'd gone crazy because our partying turned into a book club. So we were like those guys that you would always see pre-gaming, then at the bar, then at the after party, and then no one saw us at all. And they would see us with big stacks of books, watching documentaries and reading, figure out what was going on. And the three of us were trying to figure out what was next. I mean, we're about to graduate, life was about to start, and everyone was telling us to get a job, get married, have kids, retire, and die. Like that was pretty much it. That was the life path. And we were like, there has to be more to it than that. Like this is not sitting well with us. So as we read, we didn't get more answers, we got more questions. There didn't seem to be any answers. One underlying theme we saw was the answers are within you. Like we didn't really know what the hell that meant. It meant nothing to us, it was a very abstract thing. So yeah, we were kind of frustrated, but we learned a lot, we read a lot. but we didn't have any answers for what we were looking for. Ab and I grew up in West Baltimore, in the heart of where the Freddie Gray uprisings happened.
We brothers.
You have to look in the eyes.
So when we grew up there, it was before crack hit Baltimore City and a lot of other urban neighborhoods and areas. So it was like a big family where we grew up. Knew all homeowners in our neighborhood. Everybody knew each other. It's like a big family, a lot of love there, a lot of connection. Aten and I's life was a lot different than all of our friends. Now we would have been the cool kids in our neighborhood because we were doing yoga, we were meditating, like all those things were going on. Back then we were the kids that got, because nobody else was doing that. All right, that's better. Yeah, back then we were the kids that got made fun of because no one else was doing yoga, no one else was meditating, there were no other vegans. Even like snowballs, like the snowball stand, our mom wouldn't let us have sugar, so we'd have to go get the ice from the snowball stand and bring it back home. And she'd pour like organic orange juice or apple juice on it, so we would go outside with like dull orange or dull brown snowballs, and all our friends had these nice bright sugary colors and they'd make fun of us for it.
I was definitely the shame at cookouts because I used to come to cookouts with like a can of soybean hot dogs.
Yeah, so now we'd have been all right. Everybody's into food, vegan and vegetarian and yoga and all these things now, but back then it was just weird. So we hid our meditation practice from all of our friends. Every single morning our dad would wake us up to meditate before school. We would get up, we would meditate, we would go eat breakfast with Scooby-Doo, then Woody Woodpecker, and then we would go off to school every single day. That was our routine. We went to Friends School of Baltimore, which is a Quaker institution. Friends School of Baltimore and the Quakers had a lot of good philosophies that kind of stuck with me and Aten and helped shape the way that we live our lives. So stewardship was a big thing. Taking a pause before you did anything. I feel like every time we did something, you took a moment of silence to center yourself. Seeing the commonality, but also kind of respecting the diversity in all people. There was a lot going on at Friends School that kind of carried with us and helped, I guess, some of the philosophies that we started the Holistic Life Foundation with. So fast forward to back to college when we're looking for answers out there. And also, Aten and I lost our meditation practice. I guess that's a key part of that story. Like when our parents got divorced, we didn't meditate anymore from the time I guess I was in 6th grade and he was in 4th grade all the way through like college. Yeah, the end of college was the next time we meditated again. Our godfather, me and Aten's godfather, our dad's best friend, was one of those people that got into yoga in the mid-60s and never got out of it, was just constantly practicing. He was always looking for students. And once we were looking for answers and people said, look within and all these books that we read, we were like, well, maybe this could be it. And we asked him, like, well, can you teach us? And he was like, cool, I'll teach you guys, but gotta make 2 promises. One, you guys gotta agree to be teachers, because I don't want to be a teacher. He loves this kind of recluse lifestyle where he can just sit in his house and read and practice and study. He didn't want to be out there teaching. And number 2 was we had to be at his house at 4 in the morning the next morning to start learning. And this was after an evening of watching playoff basketball and drinking beer. So it wasn't like we were going to bed at 8 o'clock. He's kind of set us up with this to see if we were serious. And we were at his door at 4 a.m. We started learning, and our journey continued through there. We started the Holistic Life Foundation when we moved back to Baltimore. And I think one of the main things we noticed was that our neighborhood was a shell of itself. When we grew up there, it was crack kind of destroyed the fabric of connection in our neighborhood. So there was most of the homeowners were gone. I feel like when we were growing up there was a built-in mentoring system in our neighborhood, where like the older guys and girls in the neighborhood were there for everyone that was younger. But that older generation wasn't there when we moved back. It seemed like individuals trying to survive instead of a community. So it was something that we saw that we wanted to do something about. We got deep into our practice at that point, and the neighborhood we were living in, that we grew up in, was probably one of the most violent neighborhoods in Baltimore at the time we were there, or the time we moved back in. And our friends didn't get it, because like our practice had us very inwardly peaceful and happy and kind of content. And they would come by and they'd be like, I don't get y'all. Like, what's going on? Like, why are you all so happy? Like, you guys are broke? Because we had just graduated from college, we didn't have jobs, so we were broke. We were living in a really violent neighborhood. And they couldn't figure out what the reason were we were so happy. And we were like, well, something must be wrong, because you got a really good job, you live in a really nice neighborhood, you drive a nice car, you got all these material things, and you are miserable. So we realized that we had to start sharing these practices with others, and that was what we were going to do with the Holistic Life Foundation, was share these yoga and mindfulness, breath work, meditation practices with as many people as possible. And so from there we started sharing the practices, and Andy's going to jump into another practice for you all. And the reason we're showing you all practices is for self-care. everybody's life is stressful. Like, if you work, particularly, I don't work with a lot of teachers and social workers. And I feel like you all deal with a lot of stress, so we want to teach people practices for self-care. And the cool thing about these practices are they're not that hard to do, and you can share them with others. Like, if you see other people in your life struggling, particularly family members or people that you're working with, or even people that you don't even like, you can still share the practice with them to help reduce their stress level and help them live a more peaceful existence.
All right, so we're going to give you a lot of results too with some of the work we do, but beforehand, like Ali said, I'm going to lead you through a practice. The number you see now, 21,600. Anyone have an idea what that number is? Shout it out. No, anyone? No? Just check. It's on average the amount of breaths that you take per day. And we always think it's pretty amazing to let people hear that, because if all of y'all could think right now, how many of those breaths are you responsible for? Like, how many are you consciously taking yourself? This exercise that we're going to teach you is just how to breathe correctly. I know it seems very basic. All of y'all are doing a great job with it, by the way. You're still alive. Please keep that up. But one of the things that was really amazing to us was when we learned how to breathe the correct way, this is all after college, it was like mind-blowing, like how has no one taught me how to? And this is a fantastic tool for you all to use, for you to share with other individuals, because your breath is portable. It's always with you. It's something that you can always access and you can use as a measuring stick in terms of what's going on with yourself internally, in terms of your stress level, your anxiety levels. You'll be able to be more mindful and pay attention to yourself, and you can be able to bring yourself back if you do happen to stray from that balance to that center position, and so you can be present, okay? So first, I always like people to kind of envision a baby, because a baby breathes perfectly. If you ever look at an infant, always breathing the correct way. They're always breathing in and out of their nose. When they inhale, the baby's belly rises. When they exhale, the baby's belly falls. Even if the baby's got the snotty nose, I'm sure you all have seen the snot bubble before, right? The baby doesn't get a clogged nose and starts going, right, and panting, like the majority of people do. A lot of people, and it's gonna blow your mind today as you walk around and you see other people doing the breath. You're gonna see how many people are mouth breathers. It is gonna be mind-blowing. And then when you catch yourself throughout the day doing it too, it's gonna blow your mind. So you're gonna be sitting in line somewhere, you're gonna be like, it's just taking so long. It's crazy. I love talking about this too, because now each and every one of you have your mouths closed and you're looking at me like, man, we breathe like this all the time. What you talking about? Right? So just being aware of your breath and always breathing in and out of your nose. I'm not going to do the long spiel because I can talk about this for like an hour, and we want to make sure we talk about the results, but I'm going to just give you small details for you all to kind of sit in your mind and think about it. Our nose is three main things, all right? It's a heater, it's a filter, it's a humidifier. Your nose hairs, the ones that, I love talking to adults because I used to say nose hairs. The kids are like, huh, what are you talking about? I'm like, oh, they coming. Trust me, they coming. So it's nose hairs, right? Those are our filtration systems. So there's dust, dander, germs, microscopic stuff floating around the air. When we breathe in, it sticks on your nose hairs. Those hairs actually line all the way down to your body. So you want to make sure you're using that benefit, which is your nostrils. Your nostrils are breathing that in, you filter the air out. When you breathe out, you want to breathe out your nose. I know a lot of times we're taught to breathe out of our mouths. You want to breathe out your nose to push that stuff off your nose hairs again. There's mucous membranes that line our nasal passage that warms the air up when it comes into your body. That's very important, especially when it's cold outside. The temperature shift, I don't know if it's ever happened to you where you might be breathing in and out of your mouth indoors. It's cold outside, you step outside, you breathe in out, you get that wheeze, like that type feeling. It's because you're not warming the air up. And then you have glands in your face here that make your tears, that moisture creates a humidifying system. So always in and out of our noses. I get so excited about this, I gotta tell you one more little fact. So like, our nostrils are even like, the reason they're round like this, right? It's for a purpose. Actually, when the air comes in, it doesn't go straight into your body. It actually, the air twirls, it makes like little natural eddies to clean the air up before it goes into your body. Our bodies are amazing, right? So always in and out of our nose is what we wanna do. We also want to make sure we're using the full capacity of our lungs. So we've been doing this for 18 years now. We travel around the nation, around the world. We tell people to take a deep breath, and the thing we usually get is the Superman breath. So I say, take a deep breath, and kids go like this. Breath at all, right? That was really shallow, and all I did was look like I took a deep breath because I shot all the air up to the top portion of our lungs. Remember, our lungs are shaped like teardrops. So when you do that, you're only using 10% of your lung capacity. So what we want to do when we're breathing is we really want to manipulate our diaphragms. Use the full capacity so we can go lower lungs first, then middle lungs, then upper lungs on an inhale, and you exhale, you do the opposite, all right? So the way we're gonna go through this practice is, I want you to get comfortable in your seats. Ideally, your head, neck, and spine aligned. Your feet ground on the floor if you feel comfortable. If you want to, you get on the edge of your seat like Apu mentioned. You'll notice when you do that, that props your spine up a little more. And the goal here, you can watch me first, I'll be your model for a second. And I have these two handsome models here doing the same. You're gonna take your hand, you're gonna place your hand on your belly. And what you wanna do is when you inhale, I want you to overemphasize, I want you to push your belly out as far as you can, all right? So you're gonna imagine your belly's a balloon. So if you watch, I'm gonna inhale, and watch how my belly gets big. So inhale deep. See that? You all see that? I've been working on this for y'all already. See that? And then you exhale, and you leave your hand there, and you pull your belly away from your hand. See that? You create that space. So what you're doing is you're getting used to manipulating your diaphragm. It's a muscle. As you work with it more and more, it'll be easier for you to do. It may feel a little awkward. I know a lot of times when we travel, ladies are like, my whole life, I've been taught to be pushing my stomach in, and now you tell me to push it out. Come on now, right? It's just part of the breathing. You got this, all right? Okay, so we're going to try to do this together. I welcome you to close your eyes. I think it helps me block out distractions. It helps me be more in the present moment. All you're doing is just focus on your breaths. Let's take 5 to 7 of these breaths together. So go ahead and place your hand on your belly. Remember all the breathing in and out of our noses. Everybody inhale nice and deep. Push your belly out as far as you can. Hold your hand there. Exhale. Pull your belly away from your hand. Push all that stale CO2 out of your body. Inhale deep. Poke your belly back out towards your hand. Bringing in all that healing oxygen that's helping clean your blood, helping digest your food. And exhale, pull your belly away from your hand, again pushing all that stale CO2 out of your body. Inhale deep. Exhale it all out. You can use your imagination while you do this as well. Inhale deep, see and feel that healing oxygen coming in, all the good the planet has to offer. Exhale, push out all that stale CO2 along with any thoughts, any negativity, stress, anxiety, worries. Inhale deep. Exhale it all out. Take 3 more together. Inhale deep. Exhale it all out. 2 more. Inhale deep. Exhale it out. This will be the last one we do together. Inhale nice and deep. Push your belly out as far as you can. Bring all that oxygen in your body. Go ahead and exhale it all out. If you have your eyes closed, before you open them, take 3 deep breaths on your own. And while doing so, I want you to be a scientist. I want you to ask yourself, how does my mind feel? Is it racing or is it clear? How does my body feel? Is it tense or is it relaxed? And know if you ever want to feel this way again, all you have to do is take a few deep breaths. When you finish, and slowly, slowly blink your eyes open and come back to your senses. I always love how the room feels after that. I'm hoping y'all like the way you felt. And you know, that's something our teacher used to always say to us, be a scientist. He's like, I can give you these techniques and say they do this, but you won't know until you do them yourself and see what they do for you. So if you do like that technique, you know, whatever's facing you, internal issues, external stimuli that's bombarding you, always go back to your breath and use that to get you in that present moment. One of my favorite reactions to that breath, actually, before I talk about this next number, is we were at a drug rehabilitation class, and there's a lot of people in the class who are beating themselves up with like heroin and all sorts of really pretty tough drugs. And we do that exercise. It's day 1 of the exercise. There's a lady sitting right in front of me. She opens up her eyes, she looks at me, she goes, I ain't gotta get high no more. favorite reaction ever, favorite reaction. It's one of my favorite classes. All right, so the number 20, I'm gonna keep going so we keep getting all this in. Number 20 is the number of students we started with in 2001 in our after-school program. They gave us the 20 worst kids, they said. They wanted us to teach them football, is what they wanted us to do. They wanted us to take the 20 worst kids and get them to smash into each other. We all like football, but still, we decided instead, since we had our practice, that we thought maybe it'd be better to teach them some yoga. We started teaching them some yoga. They put us in a faraway room downstairs in like the basement of the school where no one really knows what we're doing. It's like free aftercare, so they don't really care what we're doing either, you know, as long as we're taking care of the kids. And we pick up half of them the first day at detention. Within a week, we're only picking up like 5 of them at detention. A week later, none of them are at detention. That's when the teachers and the principals are like, look, we don't know what y'all are doing down there. We don't care what y'all are doing down there. Just keep doing it, because they can see the kids are transforming. Kids who were being bullies are now taking the initiative to be leaders and to be ones breaking up the fights, learning to be more compassionate about themselves and compassionate about others, working together as a team and a unit, and having these self-care and self-regulation techniques that are allowing them to be the best students they can be. We stuck with that same group of kids, and actually now, fast forward all the way to present day, over half of them are still employed and staffed by us, making an impact in their communities. It's very powerful. We like to consider that kind of our training ground. It's called our Holistic Me program. It goes from pre-K to 5th grade, and it's 4 hours a day, every single day. We do a wide variety of enrichment activities, academic stuff, with the main focus being the mindfulness and the yoga practices that are entrenched throughout the day and an hour-long session to be able to give them the tools. Eventually, they move on and they'll keep growing. You'll see where they go next and kind of like the stepping pattern towards what happens to them prior to becoming employed by us. But one of our amazing programs, you might see a picture of a little kid. He's in like a white tank top, meditating. It's a kindergartner. That's a picture that's pretty famous. A lot of people see. That kid was in pre-K then. He is now in the 6th grade. So it's awesome to see the progress that all of them have.
0 is the amount of hair Ali has on his head.
You can't tell they're brothers. You can't tell they're brothers.
0. All right, so y'all may have seen like a viral video, like Andy was talking about, that a school changed detention to meditation. That's our Mindful Moment program in Baltimore. The reason why the number 0 is up there for the past 4 years now, there have been 0 suspensions in that school, and it's in the epicenter of where the Freddie Gray uprising happened. So you know there's a lot of undiagnosed trauma in that community. The Mindful Moment program consists, the principal gives us 15 minutes at the beginning of the day and 15 minutes at the end of the day to play a mindfulness practice over the loudspeaker. The reason why we do it at the beginning of the day to kind of get the kids in a right frame of mind, because you never know what type of trauma they're coming from. And then at home, and then at the end of the day to kind of boost up their energy just before they have to go back into their communities. But then besides that 15-minute practice, we also have a alternative suspension room where we have our staff staffing it, where kids, when they're in crisis, they can either self-refer or the teachers can refer them down to our room. Like I said, we have staff there, we're not counselors. So when they come to the room, we do active listening and mirroring to empower the kids. Then we do some breathing techniques to kind of deal with that trauma. And then meditation, and kids really love tea. So we have a tea machine in the room too, and we give them tea, and they have like a 15, 20 minute time frame to be in that room. And then, and like I said, at Robert W. Coleman, the epicenter, 0 suspensions. And yeah, the program's a dope program. People are duplicating it all around the nation now, and it's just humbling that it started at Robert W. Coleman and is rolling out nationwide now.
I don't have a joke for 3. I need to think about my next number so I can have a good joke for it. The number 3 kind of means a lot to us because the 3 of us started the Holistic Life Foundation. I don't think without the support of each other, we'd have been able to get through this whole process, because when I said we were broke earlier, like we really were when we first started. Like I remember Tuesdays were our favorite day of the week because it was like free sample day at Whole Foods, and we were going to get a really good solid meal that day.
We would just do laps.
Yeah,
we would just do laps around Whole Foods. It was awesome.
They got to know us and would start just giving us like a full plate instead of just samples a month in. So Bridging Academics in the Mind, or BAM, is our new initiative for scalability. It's a really cool project that has 3 parts and actually 3 implementation models. Like there's a lot going on with it that has to do with the number 3. It's really cool because there's audio recordings, there's actually animations of us teaching, and there's a curriculum. Those are 3 parts to the program. the animations are really, really awesome. I mean, it's kind of cool. I think the reason we had to do that was because we'd always had trouble with fidelity when we go in and do professional developments to try to train teachers. Because teachers have a lot on their plate. It's hard being a teacher. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of stuff being thrown at them. And we needed a way for the practice to be taught the right way. And the animations were the way that we got around that. I mean, so if you were a teacher and there were different situations that popped up, there's a game plan and a blueprint for what practices you would use. So if the kids came back in from lunch and they were bouncing off the walls, you would use this combination of practices. If two kids got into a fight, you would use another combination of practices. If you all were doing standardized testing and everybody was a little high-strung, you would use a different combination of practices. If it was the morning and everybody's energy was low, you would use a different combination. So there's 11 practices in the BAM curriculum. 6 in the first year, the other 5 are introduced in the second year. And the other cool thing about it is there's 3 parts to the implementation plan. The first part is we use instructional videos. So in the instructional videos, it's all about what the benefits to the practice are and then how to do the practice. Then we shift on to practice videos, which is just the practice. And then the third part, it's the kids coming up to the front of the room and leading the practices with cue cards. And reciprocal teaching is the biggest part of what we do. We want to make the kids teachers. Like our teacher made us teachers. Everywhere we go, we make the kids teachers. It's a cool model because if Andy and I go into a school and work with 200 kids, cool, no problem, we work with 200 kids. But if we turn all 200 of those kids into teachers, they're going out into their community, into their homes, and they're making a really big impact. And the kids do go home. If their parents are stressed out, usually their parents would yell at them. The kids are going home now and they're saying, hey, Ma, you look a little stressed out. Let's sit down, let's do some breathing, let's sit down and meditate. And they're stopping right there. So they're empowering people around them. So that's what we do with our programs. So BAM right now is in 3 schools? 4 schools. We're doing a pilot study right now, and then we're looking to expand it for next year. But they're loving the animations, they're loving the audio, and they're loving the curriculum because it actually helps them to use the practice in the right way, shows them how to use the practices, and it's not dumping something else for the teachers to have to learn and know and master to be able to share with the students.
And the teachers get benefit too because they practice with the students as well.
"43. I got something for you, Ali. You want it? 43. The number of hairs in Atma's attempt to have a beard. Oh. There you go. Sorry. We're a team here. No, 43 is... Thank you. So there's 43.
My beard is nice, man.
So Ali and Atma and I, when we started this, we just thought it was going to be us working. And I mean, it's amazing now that the number 43 is how many staff members we have. That's programmatic staff that are going out in the schools all over the nation, all over Baltimore City, all over the world actually. Last year we had an opportunity with some of them. They went to Lebanon, South Korea, and Canada to do this type of work. So it's really amazing. The majority of them are either from that original group of kids that we had, or they're from volunteers or other students that had been throughout our programs. Like Ali said, we really focus on that reciprocal teaching model, creating students to be the teachers so they can go out and they impact the communities. And it's amazing to see how a lot of these youth, they either stay with us the whole time, go through our workforce development program where we train them in our techniques and professionalism and how to be a ideal mindful teacher, or they go to college, they do their thing, and then after college, they're like, man, this changed my life. And I want to make the same impact that y'all made on my life, on the kids in my neighborhood's life. So it's really beautiful to see all of them when you're going to a school and there's a kid like, oh, this is lame, I don't want to do this, and then our staff's like, I was you. Like, I said that same thing that Mr. Andy, and now I'm telling you, this is going to change your life. It's going to transform you. And it's beautiful to see how a lot of these kids who honestly may have chosen a path where they are low in the value of their communities, taking the initiative to improve their communities and be that beacon of light and hope to make love, prosper and grow in those areas.
I think, Holistic Life Foundation does like awesome programs as far as the yoga and mindfulness, but like Andy said, our workforce development program is like near and dear to our heart. If you're from like inner cities, urban communities, like getting a legit job is hard, you know what I mean? And a lot of people kind of get caught up in the criminal justice system and then they can't get jobs. But the cool thing about being our own bosses is like we'll take people who have criminal records and whatever and give them a second chance. And honestly, one of our best teachers actually committed a crime when he was like 14, spent 7 years in jail, And now, like, he's one of our best teachers, community organizer, and all that stuff. So it's really about, I think the dopest part about our organization is being able to create jobs for people, and then that also influences the people that are around them too. So it's been lots of times where, you know, our staff will be like, yo, I got this homeboy, he just got out of jail, you think you can go up with a job? That's what we do, you know, so our workforce development program is there.
All right, so we're gonna, still don't have a joke. So we're gonna end off with one last practice. Just by a show of hands, how many people in here have, other than Ottman's love and kindness practice, have tried meditation before? All right, so a lot of people. So anyone, you can just scream it out, what's the toughest part of meditating? Staying your focus, like so. This is the first practice that we learned as adults. Like I said, Ottman and I grew up meditating, but didn't meditate for almost 20 years in between the time we stopped as in middle school and high school. I guess that's less than 20 years. Math is off, but however long that was.
0 is what Ali would get on a math test.
All right, so back to the practice. So this is the first practice we learned as adults, where our teacher knew that we hadn't been practicing and our minds were all over the place. And it's a cool way to kind of trick your mind into stillness. It's actually really, really easy, and like you're gonna be surprised. I know a lot of people that we teach will say, I tried meditation, I get my body still, I wasted my time because my mind was just going on like the hamster on the treadmill, just going and going and going and going, and I couldn't get it to stop, and it just frustrated me, so I quit meditating. So this is a cool practice to learn. You can either incorporate into your current practice or use as a practice. So if everybody can just get comfortable in your chair, you just don't have to sit in any specific way, just kind of get comfortable. You can definitely close your eyes. You're welcome to if you want to. And we're going to start off by taking a couple deep breaths together. One inhale nice and deeply. And exhale that breath out. Inhale deeply. And exhale it out. One last breath together. Inhale nice and deep. And exhale that breath out. And go ahead and continue breathing on your own at a nice, comfortable, relaxed pace. Something you have to put any effort into whatsoever. Just let your body naturally breathe. And as you're breathing, you're going to bring your awareness to the thoughts in your mind. Very, very passively, like you were sitting back watching a movie or a TV show or a video on your phone. Just very passively watch the thoughts that are going through your mind. No ownership, no judgment, just let the thoughts flow, just sit back and watch them. Just be the observer. Now, whatever thought's currently in your mind, watch that thought to its completion, and then when it ends, watch for the next thought to form. If another thought does pop in there, watch that thought to its completion, and when that one ends, watch for the next thought to form. And just keep repeating that process. A thought pops in, watch it to its completion, and watch for the next thought. Just keep watching for the next thought. All right, I want everyone to take a nice, full, long, slow, deep inhale, as deeply as you can. Exhale that breath all the way out. And after you exhale, go ahead and slowly, slowly blink your eyes open. So when our teacher showed us that, we were out in a normal practice spot, Lake Montebello, for anyone that's familiar with Baltimore. We were out by the pine trees that were there at that time before they chopped them all down. And I remember going up to him and I was like, well, it didn't work, I broke the meditation. And he's like, what the hell are you talking about? You can't break a meditation. I was like, nah, I broke it. Like, it doesn't work. He's like, well, what are you talking about? So I started explaining to him. I was like, well, I had this thought and I watched it to the end. And I started watching for the next thought and there was nothing there. It was this blank space. So I got frustrated and I asserted a thought because I thought there should be a thought there. Sound familiar, right? And then you watch that thought to the end and there's another blank space. You're like, well, there's a blank space here, there should be a thought, so you inserted another thought. So that process kept happening, but the thing he wanted us to get used to is being used to the stillness. So if you pay attention to your mind, there's gaps between your thoughts, like your thoughts kind of come in waves. So like those pauses are there, you just gotta notice them and pay attention to them. And as you practice that, you can cultivate them, they get longer and longer and longer, you get more stillness in your meditation. So if you do have a meditation practice that you're currently using, insert this. Like when you feel your mind racing, just stop, watch your thoughts, find that pause, and just kind of marinate in that pause and let it ride as long as you can, and then just go from there. So it's a great practice to use. There's tons of meditation practices out there and tons of things you can use to get some mental stillness. So just try them out. I mean, we're a resource. There's tons of resources out there, but take care of yourself, and then you're, like Ahmed was saying, like you have more to give others if you take care of yourself first.
We like to end all our talks the same way. We like to remind people, love is the most powerful force in the universe. We love each and every one of you. Thank you for what you do. Thank you for your time. Have a blessed day.